here with a very special guest, diehard Seahawks fan, Dylan Wagner. Welcome back to the JT Sports Network. Dylan, how we doing?
Terrified, I'm excited, all the above pretty much.
Yeah, it's going to be a stressful week if it hasn't been already. What is it? It's Thursday, right? Yeah, it's Thursday. Yeah,
It is Thursday.
yeah. So we only got a few days left. This week has been going by pretty quick for me. I feel like there's no more stressful scenario besides the weeks leading up to the Super Bowl in sports because this is to go to the game, you know? I mean, this is for all the marbles. And you posted something on your Instagram story either yesterday or earlier today, whenever it was, saying this is the Super Bowl. Do you mind sharing your thoughts on why you think that is?
Well, I don't mind at all. Personally, the way the NFC is compared to the AFC, it is purely dominant. NFC is dominant, and
Right.
you got the two best teams in the league. You got the best offense in the league with the Rams. You got the best defense in the league with the Seahawks. You got the best two teams in the league going at it. Last time we've seen a situation like this was actually our own against the Green Bay Packers. We had the best defense with the Legion of Boom. That that dominating offense with Rodgers, Jordy in the league that was in
14?
2015, I believe. In
The
2015.
14-15 season, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. In January of 15, I believe that was that game. So that was the last time we've seen a conference matchup line up just like this. And it's a really eerie feeling because, you know, if this were a situation where there were two different teams in different conferences, I would just put it up for grabs here. This would be the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like these are the two best teams in the league. People have been saying it all year long, whether it's the Rams are the best team in the league because of their offense or the Seahawks are the best team in the league because of their defense. These have been the two best teams in football pretty much all year. I mean, the Seahawks were at no point were the Seahawks considered not a good team. The Rams maybe for a week or two when they went on a little skid when they lost to the Seahawks and then they lost to Atlanta and you're thinking, all right, maybe the Rams are going to fall off. They won't be very legit, but then they go on the road and they win two playoff games and now we're here. And I believe it was Stephen A. Smith that said this. He said, it was inevitable that the Seahawks were going to have to go through the LA Rams to win the Super Bowl and vice versa. The Seahawks were not going to make it to the Super Bowl without beating the Rams. It wasn't going to happen. And the Rams were never going to go to the Super Bowl without having to go through Seattle in Seattle, most likely. Um, do you think this is going to be more of a high scoring game like the second matchup of the year or a lower scoring game like the first matchup of the year?
We got to really picture how the end of the season going into the postseason really shakes out. I mean, typically you got more hard nosed football getting played in the postseason, more defense showing up. Defense wins championships, and lower scoring games in the playoffs. I mean, you've seen it. The not a lot of scoring going on with the Rams. It's just playoff atmosphere on the road. Not a lot of scoring going on within that Bears game, in the Carolina game, and then with us, we haven't allowed really any points. Our big sputter with the Niners, we put up that many points, or and thanks to Shaheed and all the great positive field position that we were getting off of turnovers from Purdy. So I believe, with the stats and the way that they're lining up, I think this is going to be just a defensive blowout. Um, there's key factors in this one. Seattle goes with a 1-2 punch. They run the ball 51.4% of the time. Uh, Walker and Charbonnet using that 1-2 punch. Charbonnet is out for the rest of the playoffs.
Mm.
We recalled George Holani up. We activated him off of IR. He's going to play. Fortunately, Charbonnet and Holani are two different backs, and you really can't trust a guy like George Holani in a big playoff atmosphere like this, especially when he hasn't really played in the regular season. So it's going to be more lenient on Darnold. And Darnold came off the bye week. We didn't throw a lot with him. We used that ground game. He threw a total of 17 times against the Niners. And it's just, you're going to have a slow offense from Seattle because they're going to try to figure out how to not use that 1-2 punch. I mean, if Walker can get it going, it's one thing. But sometimes putting the ball in the hands of one running back, especially against a good front that the Rams have, it's going to be, hard to really make something happen out of that. And the key for Darnold is to hold on to the football. And same thing with the Rams offense, the way they've played. not too shabby offensively and going against a defense like Seattle. Um, so I think we're going to see a very low scoring game. I'm not saying it's going to be like 6-3, but like ballpark estimate, kind of the same situation you saw with the Rams and the Bears.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I could see a similar game, maybe a late touchdown to tie things up. I could see a 20-17 game completely. I mean, that was very similar to what we saw the first matchup of the year. The first matchup was 21-19, and the only points the Rams really scored were off of, good field possession off of turnovers from Darnold or whoever. And that was really it. And then the second game was a complete shootout. It was a completely different story, 38-37 in overtime. So I mean, I I'm torn between the middle. I could see like in the middle score, like not high scoring like round 2, not low scoring like round 1, but maybe like a I don't know, 27-24 final score, either the Seahawks or Rams win it. I mean, I I got to be honest. I don't think that. I mean, well, obviously, this is an obvious statement. It's obviously not an easy matchup for the Rams. There's not going to be an easy matchup in the playoffs ever, but it doesn't get harder than this. If the Rams can beat the Seahawks, I do think they'll be crowned Super Bowl champions. I do. And if the Seahawks take down the Rams, I think the Seahawks are, I don't want to say are going to have an easy time in the Super Bowl because you almost never see anybody have an easy time in the Super Bowl, but I think Seattle takes care of either New England or uh, Denver pretty. I'm gonna say it pretty easily because I think your defense is too dominant to for either New England or Denver to really get anything going. Especially if Denver doesn't have Bo Nix and they're starting Jared Stidham out there. Let's say they pull off the upset against the Patriots. If they get to the Super Bowl and they play the Seahawks, that's gonna look like Super Bowl 47 or whatever it was when you guys beat the crap out of Denver the first time. It's gonna be like that again, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's the outcome at all. Another thing about the potential Super Bowl matchup, have you seen the guy who's he's like a mind reader and he predicts the future and he predicted the Rams and Broncos to be in the Super Bowl in like November? Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that at all.
No, he went to the Rams locker room and he was like basically proving to them how he's like a mind reader and he like wrote stuff down before they did it and they were like, "Oh, like it was cool." And then he predicted the Rams to beat the Broncos in the Super Bowl 23-14. And now it might be Rams Broncos. So everyone's like freaking out about it. Like, what if this guy's actually right and he can predict the future? Which sounds so stupid, but it could actually happen. Because if I know this isn't Rams Seahawks related, but do you think Denver has any chance against New England this Sunday?
If Denver's going to win that ball game, they're going to have to show out on defense. They're going to need to bail. Defense is going to have to bail Jared Stidham out. They're going to have to. It's a necessity. The offense was kind of sputtery even during the season, but it's going to be very hard too, especially with a young, versatile offense like the Patriots have. Drake May is coming off of one heck of a season. Front runner for Offensive Player of the Year, not MVP. It depends him or Stafford. But uh, I think New England's got too many weapons for against the Broncos, and I think even if it sputters and it's a really slow game in the first half, eventually they're going to score on Denver. I mean, the New England's offense, they're not a mediocre offense in the league. By all means, they got a lot of young talent on that team, especially with Drake May's arm. So I don't think the Broncos have a chance. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't. Um, I just don't see Jarrett Stidham getting it done at all.
Right. If you had to look past this Sunday, which I know it's hard to do, but if you had to look past this Sunday, let's say Seattle wins this game. They beat the Rams, they go to the Super Bowl, they're NFC champions. I'm assuming you'd rather play Denver than New England with no Bo Nix.
You know, like I said, this is my Super Bowl. This is the Super Bowl here for either of these teams, for the Rams or the Seahawks. And I think with Denver, it would be a shootout. At the Rams played the Broncos, the Rams are going to blow them out. Seattle plays Denver, they're going to blow them out. I think with the Patriots, I think they have too young of a team. I think their quarterback's a good quarterback, but he's just not used to the atmosphere, fortunately. I mean, the Patriots got bailed out by C.J. Stroud, throwing 4 interceptions in the first half. Um, You know, it's just stuff like that. And when you go against one of these teams like that have the superstars that they do, like the Rams, with Puka Nakua, running unique formations like the 13 personnel, which they run 26% of the time, and three tight ends. It's just so versatile. And the way Seattle runs their offense, where anybody's getting the ball. Like anybody can get the ball. You can pitch it to Rashid Shaheed. He took one off for about 37 yards against the Niners. Our special teams unit running screenplays with Walker, which has worked, which is surprising to me. It hasn't worked for 2 years now. All of a sudden, it's been magic. Uh,
Yeah.
Guys like JSN and Puka Nakua each put up over 1,700 receiving
Oh,
yards.
you're forgetting a superstar that plays for the Seahawks. He's a
I know
receiver.
you're right. The MVP himself, Mr. Cooper Cup.
That's right. Okay, there we go.
um, baller game last week, by the way.
Yeah.
First quarter MVP, no doubt about it.
Oh yeah. Over 30 yards in the first quarter. That's my guy right there.
You gotta give him the plaque, dude. You gotta give him the plaque. It is what it is. But there's too many weapons, and not the Rams, the Patriots and the Broncos, they can't keep up. And as my man Mason Mullaney says, I'm going to give him a little bit of a shout out. Might be watching this, may not be watching this. He thinks Sammy D's got the juice.
Mm.
And Sammy D could sling the ball and he could sling the rock like he has done. Then Seattle's going to be in very good shape.
Oh yeah.
Very good shape if he plays consistent. Now, if you get a Sammy D that comes out there and gets flustered, doesn't get rid of the ball, holds on to the ball too long, like we have seen, just forcing footballs, it's it's not going to be a good look for Seattle. We have a defense that can bail us out, but the whole point of us, I kind of went off a little off topic here, and I apologize, but you know what? It's the podcast. Seattle NFC Championship. We're going to get into it. Uh, I firmly believe that in order for us to beat the Rams, Donald has to limit his mistakes.
Mhm.
He has to limit all of his mistakes. This game comes down to him. The defense, I believe, is going to completely do their part. That's my firm belief. Defense is going to do their part. Can JSN or can Sammy D get the ball clean to JSN? Can he be versatile? Get the ball to Shaheed, throw to Cup. We got AJ Barner. We got so many weapons. Still Walker out of the screen game. And this comes down to our OC Clint Kubiak too. Can he keep the offensive play call without Charbonnet, without that 51 around 52% running running play average on with that 1-2 punch, which is the highest in the league, by the way. We run the ball more than anybody. If he can somehow create a balance and get Sammy D confident, it's going to be a pretty good outcome for the Seahawks. With Charbonnet out, it's a tight schedule. Um, it's going to be really hard to try to work things out in the beginning of the game. That's when the defense needs to come in and, sort of prevent Stafford, prevent what happened in Week 16. That's just essentially what needs to happen. But it can go either way, and it's a very terrifying feeling. I wish the game was going on right now so I could stop thinking about it. Uh,
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm fearing for it to be over. Um, you know, I want to win. If I win, I'll be doing cartwheels in my room, probably alone. Uh, I'll be ecstatic. I'll be the happiest man alive if we win. And that's all I can think about. We're here now, and I want it. And I want it bad. And it comes down to the guy that had a 14-3 team with the Vikings against the Rams in the playoffs. And, you know, the rest was history. And now it comes down to a rematch against that.
Yeah. So how confident exactly are you in Sam Darnold? Are you like, okay, like this is our guy, like he's going to lead us to the Super Bowl? Are you having second thoughts like, is this going to be the guy that holds us back from that? Like I know you kind of described that, but I want to hear a little bit more just like of what your thought process is like. Is he like in your eyes like, oh yeah, he's a top 15 quarterback in football, or is he just like, that game manager that some people think he is? What's your thoughts on that?
Sometimes when you get a scratch off from a convenience store, you don't win nothing. Sometimes you win 20 grand. Sometimes you win $100. All right. And that analogy sort of pinpoints Sam Darnold. You don't know what you're going to get out of him. You don't know any game. You don't know what you're going to get. You're going to get the guy that throws 300 yards, throws for 3 touchdowns, gets JSN 167 receiving yards, 2 tutties, 11 catches. You're going to get the Sam Darnold that played the Rams the first time they met and threw 4 picks.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're going to get out of Sam Darnold. And that's why that 1-2 punch was so crucial for us because it limited the amount of mistakes. And this is now a time where Darnold's had a lot of turnover issues against the Rams. I believe he had 6 total picks against the Rams this season. And
This
so the ball's going to be in his hands. And the whole question is you're picking out of a hat and you're pretty much saying, what Darnold are we going to get? And you get the Darnold that you want. The guy's awesome. The guy's going to lead you to the promised land. He's going to, one of the best quarterbacks when he's in his groove. Now, especially when he has weapons with him. But when you get the Darnold that you don't want, fortunately, it's a disaster piece for the whole offense. And the defense is going to have to pick him up. And, you're going to come down to the last drive and try to make a 60-plus yard field goal and put it damn near the tunnel. So,
now, what Sam Darnold do you think you're gonna get this Sunday?
that's probably one of the hardest questions I've been asked in my life. uh, I take a sip of this real quick. If I had to make a bold prediction right now, I can't give a flustered amount. If I had to boldly predict this, from the bottom of my heart, no bias, no nothing. I think you're going to get the Sam Darnold that you got in week 16. I think you're going to get the Darnold that flusters in the beginning due to the lack of the 1-2 punch. You're going to get the ball in his hands. However, this is against a disrupting 12th man. 12th man that caused an earthquake during the first 13 seconds of the game with Rashid Shaheed's kickoff return for a touchdown. Um, this is the Darnold I think we get is like if I honestly the way I could pinpoint it is kind of give us like my projected game line for him honestly. Um, I think Darnold it hurts so bad to say like I'm brutally honest and it's really hard right now. But I think the Darnold I'm gonna get is gonna go 22 for 29. He's gonna have He's going to have a pick. He's going to throw a pick. He's going to get stripped. I think he's going to throw 3 touchdowns.
Okay.
I think he's going to bounce back. Seattle's the best off or second half offensive football team in the league. I mean, we get it going. I don't know. I don't know what Mike McDonald is sputtering at him in the locker room. I have no idea. I wish I could sneak in there and see what was going on. I'd love to fire up the. I don't know how he's firing up the boys. I don't. But for some reason, it's worked like a charm. We've had so many games where we came out flat in the first half, and the moment the ball was kicked in the second half, I mean the whole flip just screwed. Like the whole scoop just flips pretty much. And against Carolina, towards the second to last game of the season, you saw that. It was out of control. I mean, we were in a dogfight with the Panthers, which was 12-3, trying to go 13-3. Panthers were trying to scrape by and get the 4th seed in the playoffs where they didn't have any business belonging in there. And once the second half turned, I mean, we just became dominant. And that's happened a few times this season. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen against the Rams. And the whole key of that is don't let it get out of hand in the first half.
Right.
Hold Stafford. And you don't know. Stafford or Starling could come out and fire on cylinders. Walker can, cruise down the field with the ball. Shaheed can get us in good field position. He's a dominant returner. I mean, anything can happen. But regardless, the defense needs to step up against a 7-2 playoff Matt Stafford.
Yeah. I feel like that playoff record is going to come into play. I feel like, he's kind of Stafford's the kind of player that's built for the postseason. and I think he's proved that over the years. And you got to keep in mind he's 7-2 as a he's 7-2 as a Ram, I believe it is alone.
I
Correct?
think that was his career because you got to factor in there
Because
weren't a lot of
he
there
has
weren't a
two
lot of playoffs
playoffs
in
with the Rams.
Detroit. Even when he was with Detroit, there weren't a lot of playoffs, and even in the Megatron era.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, a ton of passing yards, touchdowns, and receiving yards. Don't get me wrong, ton of Hall of Fame status numbers. Just didn't have the team around him in Detroit.
Right. And it's a shame because I wish the Rams could have had him sooner. As much as I loved golf and as much as I loved the guys before him, if Stafford was on this team sooner, could have been a completely different story, especially if we had him when we moved back to LA. So would have been nice, but it's good to have him now. I want to get your take on this before we move forward. Do you think this is? I know you're not a Rams fan, but do you think this is Stafford's last year? Could this be his last game on Sunday?
You know, I just read something. I read an article about that today, and you know, what is he? 39.
38 or 39?
Someone in the chat's got to Wikipedia that real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah. Someone in the chat help us out.
Yeah, but a guy that just with the touchdown to interception ratio that he just had, 46 touchdowns. Help me out with the picks.
8, I believe it was 8.
There you go. That is, jeez, that is over a 5-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio,
That's absurd.
and it is purely dominant for a guy his age. Does he have weapons with him? Yes, but if you can somehow find a way to keep the ball in his hands for next year and keep sort of the same balance on the team that you have. I mean, you could be looking at the same situation. We could be talking about these two teams in the game next year. Um, the guy's got a chance to become a Super Bowl MVP and the NFL MVP and retire. And I think that'd be a great storyline. And that might be what he wants. But Rams fans have to brace because you don't want that. You want Stafford to play another year. This might be the year you try to maybe draft a quarterback to learn under him for a year.
Right.
Might be the case. Trade for a guy. Um, Joe Burrow's an option. Um, you know, but at the end of the day, for as a Seahawks fan, if Stafford retired, they'd probably throw a parade. Uh, the guy's just so dominant. He's a dominant quarterback, even at his age. I mean, yeah, it's you go up to you match against him, and you know what you're getting out of Stafford. You're getting a shootout, and but with his given stats, I know he's got a family, but do I think he retires? No, I don't. I don't think he retires because I think his stats this year and the legacy that he could possibly have for another year with the Rams is on the line, especially with the whole fan base in LA. And I think it's going to implement his decision to kind of remain there for another year.
Yeah. I sure hope so because I haven't had to deal with, oh, who's our next quarterback going to be in quite some time. We'd have Stafford for half a decade. Before that, we had Goff for 5 years or whatever it was, maybe longer than that. So we haven't had to deal with a bad quarterback situation in a decade. So we've been pretty spoiled as Rams fans, but I sure hope that he's not going anywhere. And if he doesn't, I'm sure it'll only be one more year, but I'll take one more year because that's another year at a chance at a Super Bowl if we don't win this year. Even if we do win this year, you could try to win it again next year with Stafford as well. So, by the way, someone in the chat did answer our question. Stafford was born in 1988, February 7th, they said. So
Oh, wow.
so he is
Seven,
38.
seven, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's the
Oh
7th,
my
8th,
God.
and the ninth.
It's aligning right now.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Scary for Sunday.
But another thing I wanted to touch on with this rivalry, I feel like a lot of people say, one of the best rivalries in the NFC, Cowboys Eagles. Back then it was Cowboys Redskins. Nowadays, Seahawks Niners, Rams Niners. I want to talk about Rams Seahawks as the best rivalry in the NFC. And I say this not because we're Rams and Seahawks fans, but the all time point total In Rams Seahawks history, the Seahawks have scored 1,223 points, and the Rams have scored 1,222. The Seahawks out of all those matchups, I believe it's 57 matchups. Yes, 57 matchups. This will be their 58th. They are separated by a point, a single point, just like their last game. So going into their last matchup, they were dead even, 28 to 28 as the all-time record. Dead even in points. The Seahawks beat them 38-37. Now Seattle leads the all-time record 29 to 28. They've scored one more point. In their last four meetings, the Rams have outscored the Seahawks 109 to 107, so only separated by 2 points. And the Rams have had 1,599 yards. The Seahawks have had 1,589. So the Rams only have 10 more yards in the last four games. That's how close this rivalry is. And we might not sit here and say, oh, you might not sit here and say the Rams are your least favorite team. You'd probably say the 49ers. And I'd agree. I'd say the 49ers are my least favorite team, not the Seahawks. But I feel like this seriously has potential, especially after this Sunday, to be the current best rivalry in the NFC, maybe in all of football. Would you say that that's not ridiculous to say?
Stats line up very well, and we're gonna take a little travel back in time for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, bear with me here. You know, 13, you had big rivalries, Seattle, San Fran, right? And you try me with another receiver like Crabtree, that's the result you're gonna get, right? Sherman, uh, Michael Crabtree, the beef, Chancellor's hit on Vernon Davis, um, just all of that. Uh, that was a big rivalry, back when and back then. Um, it's weird because when you compare a rivalry such as the Eagles and Cowboys, it always seems like one team is really good and the other one isn't so good. And I think it's sort of like a fan base thing. Like when you're talking about, see that like that's like I think that's your top fan base rivalry right there. But when you really think about it and you think about football rivalry, just football, hard-nosed football, who beats who matches up best against who. I mean, the stats don't lie. It's, in my opinion, the last few years, it's been Rams, Seattle. I mean, look at how many games we've had that come down to the wire. I mean, the overtime game where Quandre Diggs got the interception. The game where it came down to the last drive and DJ Dallas dropped the ball in 2021. The game where uh, Greg Zerline missed the
Missed the
44-yard
Bears.
field goal.
Yeah.
There's more. This season, we missed the 60. It came all the way down to the wire. We threw four picks. We were in the game, and we missed that kick and we lost. The Week 16 matchup. You guys scored a touchdown in overtime. We had to go and convert a 2-point conversion to win. And now you're looking at a team here with the Rams that has 12 wins and a Seahawks team that's 14-3. And overall, they outmatch anybody in the NFC. And I think up to date right now, this is your rivalry. This is the rivalry, and this is the game that both of us, I wanted to stay away from this matchup. I'm sure you're in agreement. We wanted to stay away. This is now the game that America is tuning into for a reason because it is such a hard-nosed fought football game anytime these two teams play. Now, they're two juggernauts. And man, dude, I mean, it's just like it just fires you up because of Sunday. What's to come? What's to come at us? What's to come next year? And when you get all fired up for a game like this and an ambiance such like this with two such juggernaut teams, the two best teams in the league, there's no other choice to say this is the best rivalry, not only in the NFC but in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it's an overlooked rivalry because both teams have a lot of respect for each other, but at the end of the day, these teams don't necessarily like each other, and it's been like that for a long time. Real quick, I wanna do a little game with you. Uh,
You now.
yeah, I do. How many players can you name that have played for both the Seahawks and the Rams? Try to name at least 5. And if you can name more, great.
Cup,
Go.
Ernest Jones,
Ernest Jones.
um, Gerald Everett,
Those are the top 3 in order who I have on my list. That's crazy.
Colby Parkinson,
Colby Parkinson,
Bobby Wagner.
Bobby Wagner. That's 5.
Hang on, hang on. Let me cook, man.
Okay.
Oh boy. No, Disley went to the Chargers, and it wasn't a Ram. I
No.
think I can. I think I can get that. Cam Akers.
Cam Akers. Yes, I didn't write him because I was like, he was barely a Seahawk. No one's going to remember that. But
Yeah.
yeah, Cam Akers was a Seahawk.
No,
That's
I feel
6.
like I'm missing one.
There's one current Ram.
One
Actually,
kind
2 current Rams that you're forgetting. One is a defensive tackle.
DT. Yep. DT.
Yeah.
Pona Ford.
Yep. Poona Ford.
Pona Ford.
The other one's
And
also on defense.
the other one's also on defense.
Yep.
Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Whoa. Oh my goodness, man.
He was recently a Seahawk.
Mm-hmm. DB, right?
Yep.
Yep. Come on. Come on. Recently. How recent?
This year. Released him, and then the Rams picked him back up. He was a Ram before a Seahawk as well.
Oh my goodness. Um. Oh my goodness. Why can't I think of the name? He had 2 picks for us.
He did. Do you want his
Yeah.
initials?
Yes.
DK.
I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. I know exactly
You
who we're
definitely know
talking
who
about.
I'm talking about, though.
Yes, yeah. What's the name?
Darian Kendrick.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah. But you knew who I was talking about, so
Yeah.
we'll count it. So that's 8. That was pretty good. The only other 2 guys I had on here were Austin Davis and Trey Brown. Austin Davis was the Rams' third
I
string.
forgot. I forgot you had Trey Brown.
Yeah. Austin Davis was our 3rd string quarterback in like 2015 who came in because Bradford and our backup both got hurt. And apparently, I looked it up. Apparently, he was a Seahawk in 2017, which I didn't know. But yeah, that was pretty good. So you got 8. That was pretty good. Before we wrap things up, I actually have a few trivia questions for you
What did he have?
if you wanna see how well you can do. This
Oh,
is
let's take a
Seahawks.
crack at it.
This is Seahawks / Rams trivia. All right. There are how many questions are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 questions and then a bonus question. All right. Question number 1. Out of 57 games, what is the all-time record in Rams Seahawks? I think I actually spoiled this
Yeah,
exercise.
it's 29-28 Seattle.
Yeah, 29-28 Seattle. Very good. All right, this is a tough one. You have options. How many players have played for both teams in history? I'll give you options. 64, 80, 96, or 112.
96.
It is not 96.
Oh my goodness. No.
64, which I was surprised by. That's not that many. Question number 3. What college did Cooper Kupp go to?
What was it? Eastern Washington?
Yep, very
Yeah,
good.
Eastern Washington.
Very good. What number did Bobby Wagner wear for the Rams?
45.
Very good. Yes, 45. So it's 3 for 4. Looking good. The Rams and Seahawks are playing each other for the blank time in the postseason. First, second, third, or fourth?
Let me cook now. Second.
It is not the second time.
Oh my god. What are we factoring the bucket hat era?
This is the third time they're playing.
Third time?
They've played each other twice, though.
I
Played each
know
other twice in the playoffs, ever, which I was surprised by. That's not that many times.
I know the COVID year, and then what was the other one?
The other one was like in the 70s or 80s.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the third time that they're playing each other. True or false? This year's NFC West was the first division ever to have 3 12 plus win teams.
True.
That is true. The Seahawks 12-5, the Rams 12-5, and Seattle 14-3. True or false? The Seahawks are 0-2 in the playoffs against the Rams all time.
False.
It is true.
Oh boy.
The Rams are 2-0 against the Seahawks in the playoffs all time.
Yeah. Let me go back in 1974 real quick and pull up the tape, dude.
You don't remember that game? I
Nah,
remember it was yesterday.
dude, no, I do actually blanked my memory. I remember. Yeah, we lost.
Yeah, dude, Jim Everett was going off that game.
Yeah, again, dude.
All right, All right, I kind of spoiled this question before when we were going over stats, but the Rams Seahawks rivalry is separated by how many points all time? So how many more points?
One, right?
Yeah, one. Yeah,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
And the bonus question. Who was the first player the Seahawks ever traded for? This isn't like a nobody, so you can get this.
Receiver, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's one or two others. There's two options. I got two.
Mm-hmm.
Big time receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Big name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have two names. Two names. And I gotta choose one. And it sucks because, man, I don't know if the one was homegrown. You know what? I'm going. I'm going.
Okay.
We had to make trades back in the 80s. If I get it wrong, can I go with the other answer?
Sure.
Largent.
Bang! You got it. Steve Largent. Let's go.
I was thinking about him, and remember when Jerry Rice became a Seahawk?
Yeah, but that was like early 2000s.
Well, yeah, that's what I was just factored in because I was like, that was in the 90s.
Yeah.
With the Montana.
Because they were established in 76.
Yeah, we were 76.
Yeah. So they had to have made a trade before Jerry Rice. And the first one ever was Steve Largent. Yeah. Very good. Well, that was fun. Dylan, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. And do you have any last thoughts before we wrap this up?
Go Hawks, baby. Go Hawks.
Best of luck to you this Sunday, Dill. Go Rams.